Indie Horror Book Club live discussion. I'm giving you a few minutes for people to realise I'm on. This is for the January book, but we'll also be doing a reading sprint after if you want to stay on for that. Although I should warn you that there will be spoilers for this. So if anybody doesn't want to know what happens in the book, it's this one, Echoes of Home, then yeah, please don't watch if you don't want to be spoiled, because you will be. But yeah, we're just going to wait and see if a few more people join. Hello, Melina. Hi, Yvonne. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a good evening. And my husband's cooking his tea. That's the thing. I've had a very mad day. Hello, sweetie. I had a very mad day at work. It is. Hi, Shelley. Hi, Danny. It's been a bit mad. It's, if anybody doesn't know, I work as in accounts. So hi, Joe. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Lisa. So it's coming up to end of year, so everybody's a bit kind of mental at the moment, trying to get everything done before the end of the year. Hello, Jane. Hi, Shelley. So we're going to talk about Echoes of Home, which was our book. Hi, Melina. Hi, Jane. Thank you for joining. Dragon Knight, that's a great name, isn't it? Wow. There are lots of people joining at the moment. I don't know how many of you are actually in the book club. I can recognise some of the names, but not all of them. If any of you who are in the book club want to jump on and talk, then you can, just let me know. But we are going to talk about this book, which is Echoes of Home. I have no idea how to invert this, so I apologise. It drives me insane when people don't do it on their videos. But hello, Jane. Yeah, we have an indie horror book club that I run. It's got a Discord. All the details are in my bio, or you can just DM me. We just finished reading this one, Echoes of Home, which was a ghost story for January. In February, reading European Halls, which is a slasher. It's just a way of introducing people to more indie horror, really, which is my passion. I do a lot of ARC reading and beta reading for indie horror authors, and just trying to, introduce a bit more people. Hello, Amelia. How you feeling, darling? Are you all right, sweet? Worry about you, we talk all the time. She's just the most darling woman ever. So, yeah, Echoes of Home was our January read. This is a ghost story set in the Scottish Highlands, and it's about this man called Leslie, who is grief-stricken. He was a carer for his parents, and his mother's just passed away, and he's alone in the house, feeling sorry for himself, basically. So he's got 3 brothers, so somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, and they have not been around for years. And then after the day after the funeral, his brother Jonathan turns up. I mean, good. His brother Jonathan turns up and says, "Look, I'm sorry I wasn't here, but I've got this cottage up in this little place called Elphin, which is in the Scottish Highlands, and I'd like you to move there." And so he ups and goes. He just ups and goes. Hi, Emma. He ups and goes to the Scottish Highlands, to this tiny little cottage. I think it's tiny. I mean, when you're talking about it when it's a house later on, it feels huge, doesn't it? But when they are talking about it initially, it seems tiny. But anyway, I don't know. I like Kate Moss too, actually. She's brilliant. So anyway, he goes up there, but there's something going on. The valley it's in is a bit weird. There's another abandoned place on the hillside opposite that gives them very, 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 very funny vibes. He drives there from Stoke very quick. He does. He drives there so quickly. I think he had some kind of rocket-powered car. But anyway, it's a fantastic horror story. It's a ghost story more than horror. And it's beautifully evocative. This was Matt's debut novel. And I did an interview with him on my YouTube channel if you want to go and watch that. He's a really sweet man. He comes from Stoke. And also it does say at the back of this book that he used to go wild camping in this place, in this book. And He's such a sweet man. So this is his debut. He's beautifully written. He's very evocative, very poignant. He's very, very sad. I know a lot of people have heard about Danny, have heard about the famine that was in Ireland, but I don't think people realise, I certainly didn't realise the extent of this, that the famine also happened, or the blight on the crops also happened in Scotland. I don't know if anybody else realised, but I did not realise this. So a lot of people had to leave, or a lot of people died, a lot of people died of starvation, and in the end there was just a mother and her 2 children left there. And the person who owned Elfin Cottage, or Elfin House as it was then, won't help her. He has her as a housekeeper, and she starts taking food, because why not? Because she's starving and her children are starving. So she... Oh, there's a hand going across my screen now. Oh, what's that mean? Who knows? Who knows, my loves? Anyway, so she starts taking a little bit of food that's left for her children, and she gets sacked. And they're starving. And in the end, one of her daughters dies. And the other one, she takes her down to the house in a snowstorm and begs them to let them in. And they don't. And she freezes to death. And it's her ghost that's haunting the place. So there you go. That's basically what the story's about. And I agree with everybody who's put comments. I did not realise this about Scottish history. And it was terribly sad, terribly poignant. I wanted to learn more. I agree. I wanted to know more. I had no idea that happened. I knew that it happened on the potato crop in Ireland, the blight. I didn't know it happened in Scotland. And also, how cruel were the people who owned this land, for the farmers. They were so cruel. So anyway, this is a signed copy from Matt from me. So this is all where it all began. Thank you for your support from Matt. I did love the illustrations as well. Did you like the illustrations through there? Like at the start of some of the chapters, there was beautiful illustrations. So gorgeous. Such a lovely little book. I did start gentle with you all. Because I'll read everything from very cosy horror to more extreme horror, and I didn't know where your levels were, right? So we will try other more extreme horrors later in the year, but this was just a gentle ghost story that was... I always think December and January to me is either murder mysteries or ghost stories, where I want to read something that's kind of creepy and spooky and a bit cold and chilly. Do you know what I mean? And that was this to me. So, questions, my friends. I've got some. Look, I'm so organised. What did you think of the main character of Leslie? I liked him. At the beginning, I felt he was a bit kind of, a bit kind of sad and a bit pathetic, because he was, I think, wasn't he? But I think he came into his own in this, and part of me sees the whole story as... Thank you, Danny. Yeah, they're little ghosts, look, holding iced coffees. I agree. I agree so much. He was quite sad, quite pathetic, really had no direction in life. And exactly, Yvonne. His whole life was revolving around caring for somebody else. And he was terribly, terribly lonely, I agree, Joe. And I think this brought him out of himself. It was almost a story of redemption for him, wasn't it? That he actually found his purpose in life, and he found something to feel good about. And, I mean, I think perhaps he went to the extreme in the end, don't you? I mean, I wouldn't burn my house down. But there you go. Would you have left everything and just gone? If somebody turned up at your house, if you're on your own, I'm married, so I can't really do this. But if you lived on your own and you had no reason to stay where you were, there was nothing holding you, and somebody turned up and said, I've got this little cottage, it's in the middle of nowhere. Yes, you can. They're cute, aren't they? I think they were from Temu. or Sheen, one of those. Yeah, very cute. Holding iced coffees. I loved Ghost. I love ghosts. Ghost Story, eh? Anyway, so I think, so if somebody turned up at your house and said, look, I've got this little cottage in the middle of nowhere, it's not going to cost you anything, just go. Would you? Would you go? I agree. I think he thought he got nothing to lose. And I've done that. I mean, in my life, I have just gone. I've just thought I've had enough, and I've just gone, and I've travelled for years, and I never stayed in one place for long. I didn't. I had a suitcase, and I lived out of a suitcase for 20 years. So I wouldn't do it now because now I have a mortgage and a husband and cats. So it would be harder to do. But I understand why he did it. Because what did he have to lose? Do you know, at the end of the day? Yeah, I think I probably would have done. With friends, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit of a loner, so, you know, I love talking and I love people, but, you know, I'm just as comfortable on my own, really. But I would just have, in the past, I would have just upped and left and gone. But, you know, he did drive there really fast. Shelley's absolutely fine. Oh, that's interesting, Melina. So you found him more interesting when he got to Scotland. I think he became more of a whole character, didn't he? I think you felt more about him. I think in the beginning he was quite, you know, pathetic a little bit, wasn't he? A bit sad and moping. Do you know what I mean? Understandably so. Thank you, that's kind. But I think he did come into his own when he got to Scotland. Now, this is a question, and I couldn't tell you what my favourite book is, Elise. That'd be like asking me what my favourite child is or my favourite cat. I've got 3. Yes, where were the other 2 brothers? I mean, I get that. You know, when you look after other people, and we've all been carers at some point. I was a carer for my mum at the end of her life, and we all have been. And I think you can lose yourself in that a little bit, can't you? I know there's quite a few of the ladies in my Discord who, thank you, Amelia. It's pink, it's very pink. Who are carers now. They care for other people. I think it takes a special kind of person to do that, like as a full-time thing. I think you have to be quite sacrificial about yourself a little bit. And it's difficult with his family because what do? Do you know what I mean? But I think it takes a special kind of person to do that. And it does absolutely, Joe. You have to put your own needs and your own wants onto the back burner because you're responsible for somebody else. Absolutely. So, we don't know what happened to the other 2 brothers, but the brother who turned up, did any of you guess it was a ghost? Did you? He did disappear a bit rapido, didn't he? I was pretty sure it was, and then, no, really, I was pretty sure he was, and towards the end, you know, obviously when they talked about it and he'd had a car accident trying to leave, and so you realise actually he knew something was going on, that he'd got his brother to go and, you know, sort it out, basically. It was the indents. Yeah, exactly, being left on the sofa, and then he just disappeared. It's like, why would he do that? Why wouldn't he... Oh, thank you, Danny. Why would he suddenly turn up after years of not turning up, give his brother a cottage, and then just leave the next morning without saying anything? That was just weird. It's a penguin. I'm in pyjamas, love, because it's night time. Penguin pyjamas. These are Chelsea Piers, by the way. The best pyjamas in the world. They're so soft. So I think his brother realised something was going on in that place. And then... Oh, that's an interesting take, Mills. If Leslie had passed away after his mother and he was actually a ghost too. Oh, that's an interesting idea, isn't it? I mean, it could be read that way. Certainly. Yes, it could be read that way, certainly. Yeah, I think so. But I think, yeah, like somebody said, that is it Luna Reeds? Yeah, that, he died, his mum was there, and he said, look, you've got to help our Leslie out. He's been looking after us for years. Go and sort him out. Go and help him out. He needs to find himself. So perhaps that's right. I don't know, really. Who was your favourite character? Hello, Emmy. It's fine, my darling. How's Kiddie? Was it Worcestershire, in it? All right. I used to work at the races at Worcester when I was a bookie in a past life. Worcester races is fantastic. Worcester itself is gorgeous, but I think you're in Kiddie, aren't you? Love Kidderminster too. So who was your favourite character? I liked a lot of the characters, except the owner of Elfin, obviously. We didn't like him, did we? No, we did not like him. And he sounded like he had an awful death himself, so that's probably for the best. Cools was my favourite character. Apart from Leslie, I got to like him. He annoyed me in the beginning, but I got to like him. He came out of himself, showed his true self, and I liked that. But I loved Cools. I love a grumpy old man. I'm married to a grumpy old man, am I not, love? He's eating his tea. Anyway, so yeah, I loved Cools. I thought he was a fantastic character. I loved the fact that he seemed... Yeah, I think that he seemed so comfortable in the company of ghosts, didn't he? He obviously was very, very aware of what was going on around him in the area. And he was comfortable with that, as is evidenced by when they were at the Dram Inn. I mean, did any of you realise all of those people were ghosts until he went to the cemetery and saw all their graves? I mean, I didn't realise that. That was a shock in the book for me. I was like, oh, none of them were alive. And he was just sat there by the fire, having a drink, having a chat to a couple of ghosts, like you do on a normal night. It's normal, innit? But I really loved the Dram Inn. He was a storyteller, absolutely, Melina. He absolutely was such a storyteller, cool. And I love the fact that in the end it was Leslie who kind of became his carer, didn't he? He became his carer in the end and looked after him because he was on his own. It was like full circle. And then he left him his house. And even though at the end of the book you see Leslie driving away, I like to think that actually that was only temporary and that actually he was coming back. Do you know what I mean? And they would make his life in Elfin, and he would be the one who took care of the people in the Dram Inn and the cemetery and the graves, and they'd keep the memory of the land alive. I think so too, Joe. I think he stayed with the dogs. Yeah, I do. And I like to think that he's there now. Do you know what I mean? He's the storyteller now. He's Cools now, right? So, yeah, I love that idea. And I don't know how many of you saw the interview I did with Matt, but he is writing a prequel to this, which will tell the story of the blight that happened in Scotland in a bit more detail and how it affected... I'm losing my voice. How it affected the farmers and the serfs on the land, and a little bit more history, and even further back to the ancient darkness that existed in Elfin. So I think that'll be really, really good. How did you feel about the blatant neglect of the farmers by the landowner, especially the neglect of the children? I found that really hard, and I know it's a different time, and that's the way it was. You know, if you didn't work, you didn't eat, and if you didn't eat, you didn't live. It was a harsh, brutal time, but it was hard to hear, wasn't it? It was shocking and hard to hear that there was no sympathy even for the kids. Infuriated me. I was infuriated with him when she was clawing at the window and she was tapping at the window to let them know that she was outside with her daughter who was dying, and they just ignored her, and he shut all those shutters, And I mean, at least the people who were there having a fantastic meal felt shame the next day, but they didn't try and interfere, did they? They didn't do anything about it. And that image of when they came out and her and her daughter frozen to death, oh my God, that was just heartbreaking, Yeah, I agree, Joe. And I mean, it's still the same today, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people in poverty all over the world, when there really shouldn't be. There's more enough for all of us. Do you know what I mean? Governments be doing bad to them sometimes. Now, the ending. Yeah, the guest didn't speak up. That was what annoyed me. Oh, my God. Why? I mean, I understand. What did he have over them that they wouldn't have said, oh, just give us some bread and milk. Just give us something. She's starving to death. And imagine the image of them, you know, in raggedy clothes, freezing to death in the snowstorm, and not one person had even an ounce of compassion. Because I choose to believe that the majority of people are good. Do you know? There's some awful, horrible people in the world, but the majority of people wouldn't do that. They wouldn't turn away, would they? Perhaps I'm naive. I don't know. I am not. I'm 50. I'm in my 50s. I'm not. It was grim. It was very sad, but great ghost story. Yeah, the kind of mob mentality you're thinking of, Emmy, yeah, where people just, they don't want to be the one to step out and say something. You see it all the time when people, you know, are getting beaten up, don't you, in the street, and people just walk past because they don't want to interfere, because they're scared themselves of getting hurt. I think the majority, I agree with you, I was just going to say exactly the same thing. Are we psychic? The majority of working class people, which is the job which we all are, I think we would help. I would help. If I saw somebody being hurt in the street, I would have to say something. Yeah, I'd have to do something, even to the detriment of myself. I don't think I could stand by and let other people get hurt and not say anything. So then we get to the end. Do you think the burning of the cottage was the only way? I felt that was a bit sad. And I understand that Martha had focused on that as the scene of her greatest horror. And her guilt at, you know, not being able to save her children. And so the focus was on the house. That's why he was hearing all strange things in there. And that one room that was boarded up was obviously the room that she was at the window in the past. I just think it was a bit extreme, burning the cottage down. I mean, he ended up with the cottage in the end because Coles left him one, right? But I just thought, it's a bit extreme, isn't it? But so would I, and I'm kind of hoping, Melina, in the prequel book that he's writing now, you'll get more of her story. You know, before she became destitute, really, because you really don't find out a lot about her, do you? Until she becomes, like, you know, poverty stricken. Yeah, perhaps that's true, Joe. Perhaps her spirit was trapped in there, and that was the only way she could be released. I didn't expect it, I suppose, really. But yeah, I suppose violent acts have to end sometimes with a violent act, don't they? So hopefully he'll go more into her backstory in the prequel. I'd like to too. I'd like to talk about, you know, when she was married and when their life was good with their children before. Yes, I agree with you, Joe. So the brother's in the beginning. So he turns up, gives him the keys to a cottage, says he's a cottage, goes to Scotland. And he does, right? And then you don't hear any more of the brother until you find out he was in a car crash and died on the way leaving the cottage. He's not mentioned. He doesn't even mention it in passing to anybody, does he? Well, nobody says to him, how come you've ended up with this cottage? Well, my brother gave it me. He never even mentions it again. That's a bit weird. I agree with you. But I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly did. I found it to be very poignant, very evocative. And I found that Leslie's grief and loneliness was really amplified in the cottage. I'm not sure that it was the right... I think it was the right thing for him to go through it so he could get through it and become, properly himself again after being responsible for other people for so long. And the cottage was creepy. The eerie sounds, the cold. It felt cold, didn't it? It felt chilly. I thought it was a really perfect ghost story. I really did. And I loved the history of it. I loved the fact that the history was real. So, yeah. I thought it was a cracking start to our book club. I hope you all enjoyed it. Echoes of Home by Matt Rayner. I mean, if anybody stayed on for this who's not in the book club, I've ruined it for you. But it's still worth a read, loves. It's still worth a read. It's an excellent start. Now, next month, we are going to be reading European Halls by Alan Shivers. And it is a slasher. But unlike a lot of these things that take place in, a tiny town in America, this one takes place in the bright lights big city of Brussels in Belgium in a very modern university. And there are 6 friends. And they they're all from different nationalities. And they use this acronym, MYOLA, which is all their initials spelt out. And they have that as a chat group. And one by one, they start to be killed off by a slasher. And at the end, the big thing at the end is there is a big event and all hell breaks loose. If any of you have read the second one, it's even better. European Halls 2, which is in Budapest, is even better. So, yeah, it's a perfect month for us. Because it's Valentine's. And nothing says slasher like Valentine's, does it? Alan Shivers, which of course is his pen name, would like to do a live Q&A with you all. So I'm just questioning this. If you would like to do that, we could do it on here or we could do it on YouTube. I think it might be nice to do it on here, actually. A lot of the book clubs I'm in, there's one that I'm in, then the Tales Point Horror Book Club, which I love. I love you, Shelley, which is mainly on Instagram. Then Vamps 24, which I do with Kirsty, which is also mainly on Instagram and on YouTube. So I think we'll do our book club on here because the majority of you are from here. And I started on Booktok. Is there a character limit on comments? Really? I didn't know that. I've never been on live before. I think that, especially as I found out that these are actually recorded, so I can actually put them onto YouTube for the people who can't get onto TikTok. So that would be great. But I think it's quite nice. It's quite nice for me to interact with you like this. I love it. And it seems to be a really good connection, so that's good. You keep babbling on it, realise it cut me off. Yeah, excuse me while I have a drink. We'll also, of course, continue to discuss it during the month on the Discord. So anyway, about Alan's Q&A. When's the best date for you? Now, I believe I can do a poll. Let's have a look. How do I do it? Oh, dear. I'll do a quick poll. Right, so here's a quick poll. So we're going to do either the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day, or the 21st of February, which also happens to be my birthday. So we could do a live on my birthday if you want. So 14th or the 21st. I'm going to do a quick poll. So smiley face is the 14th. No, smiley face is the 21st. And crying is the Valentine's Day, the 14th. Because a lot of people will be crying. Got it? So, smiley face the 21st, crying face the 14th. Go, my darlings. Oh, my birthday. Should we do it on my birthday? Should we have a birthday TikTok? A birthday TikTok live. Yay! That would be fun, wouldn't it? I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm heading very swiftly towards 60, my darlings. So, thankfully I don't look... You can sing happy birthday, oh, that would be lovely. Yes, it would. I'm actually off that week as well, so it's ideal. So we could go later if you want, do loads of sprints, depending on how tired I am. But, oh, look, I've got all bits all over me. Okay. So then, ends in 8 seconds. So, yeah, we'll do it on the 21st. So I'll get in contact with Alan. It's not his name, obviously. It's his pen name, but I don't know whether to use his real name on here or not. So I'm going to, I am a Pisces, Emmy. Yeah, I was born on the cusp, though. So I'm an early Pisces. We're very different. Yes, you are. It changes on the 20th. So it changes to Pisces on the 20th. So I'm a very early Pisces, the first week on the cusp. Yeah, I'm a Pisces too. See, all these Pisceans coming swimming out. Oh, we can have a joint birthday celebration, my darlings. I'll probably wear some kind of hat. Maybe. Pisces unite. And do you know something? I'm terrified of water because I drowned when I was 8. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But yeah, so I'll speak to Alan and see if we can do a live Q&A on here on that day. Will that be all right with everyone? That'd be fun, wouldn't it? So he likes to interact. So he'll be live on the screen with me. And we'll probably do a little bit of an interview like I did with Matt. And then we'll do a live Q&A. I think that'll be fun. 11th, so Emmy's the 6th and Joe's the 11th. You're very close together, you two. Wow. Yeah, I think it'll be fun too, my darlings. So we'll be reading that. Now in March, we'll be reading Beta by Sammy Scott, which is more a sci-fi horror, but it's a fantastic read. And it's basically told in dual timelines, and it's about a house that is set up with AI to meet up every need. And this writer is asked to go there and try it out for 3 months. And he does. And to begin with, it's all lovely. But what happens if AI is so sentient that it can sense when you need something, and when it comes time for you to leave, what would be its purpose? It's really, really creepy and disturbing. And it's a very good psychological horror. The sci-fi element more so is because of the AI, Joe. It's not really, it's not in space sci-fi. I'd say it's more, I don't know what you call it. It's called a sci-fi horror because of the AI aspect. But there's no space in it. The AI house is very much set on Earth. It is a fantastic read. It's one of my favourite reads of last year. I'm happy to read it again. And then in April, we're going to read Cursed by Lee Kenny. Now, Beta by Sammy Scott. Sammy is American. Alan, who is February, is Belgian. They're all indie, and they're all available on KU, on Kindle Unlimited, or the books if you want to get them, or the Kindle. In April is Lee Kenny, who is Irish. And she's also, she's also a friend. So but her little book, which she's just sent me a copy of. I bought a copy. I'm always buying indie books because you got to support them. It's only a tiny little novella. So I thought in April we'd do a little novella and we maybe slip in another book at the same time. But this is fabulous. This is a cross between, if you like The Ring, and like that kind of thing with creepy people in it. So it's basically about this trash man, garbage man, rubbish man, dustbin man, we call him, don't we, darlings? Who is given this box by this woman, and he throws it into the the lorry, and then when he gets home, he's in his house, and something starts coming out of it. Oh, it is a cracker. It is a cracker. It is proper creepy. Proper creepy. And the ending twisted my brain. So, and I read horror all the time, so that's how good it is. It's everywhere. Um, it's everywhere because it's so good. It's a fantastic debut novella. Lee is absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous human. And so, yeah, we're doing that in April. And then I'll think about the rest of the year. So if you want to try some more extreme, not majorly extreme, there's a level for me even. I don't particularly like horror that disgusts me. It doesn't scare me, I just don't want to read it. I also need to know what triggers you all have. Some people won't read stuff that's got children in it, which is understandable, or animals in it. So I'm trying to avoid the major triggers for people, a major content warning for people, so that they don't get upset. But because I don't want to upset anyone. And also, I will tell you if there's any triggers, and I will be very explicit about what triggers are in there, so that you know to avoid it if that's one of yours. I want it to be as much fun as possible. I love indie horror. Animal. Yeah, so the thing is with me, Joe, with that, if it's kind of as part of a book, like if I'm reading a book about a serial killer and growing up, then I kind of expect to see it. It's part of the story and it makes sense to me. It's when it's thrown in randomly, just for no reason, for spite, then I don't like it. But, hello, Ruby. Girly pop. Yeah, exactly. If it's flowing in the story and it's just a comment, it's not so bad, is it? If it's put there just to offend you and disgust you, then there's an issue. I'm happy with people. Amelia. Yeah, my triggers when it's crap too. I agree. But yeah, I don't mind watching people, no problem. But the dog dies, I'm out. I agree completely. But so that's the plan. That's the plan for the next few months, my darlings. I hope you're all enjoying the Discord. And I hope you all enjoyed this. I've never done anything like this before. It's a bit weird sitting here talking to myself. Maybe some of you will want to come on with me in future ones, but it's up to you. But I don't mind just wittering on. It's lovely to see so many of you in the chat. Thank you so much for turning up. Did you want to do a reading sprint, or are you all happy for that to end now and we'll do a reading sprint another night? Maybe do a reading sprint next. Thank you, Shelley. Shelley's an expert at these live things. I'll tell you something though, Shelley, on this channel you can't make things happen. I can't make any fireworks or anything happen. I've tried. It doesn't work. But anyway, would you like to do a reading sprint, my lovelies, or would you? Or would you like to just end now and we'll do a reading sprint next Wednesday? Just let me know. That's okay, Ree. It's lovely to see you, my darling. I hope you're all right. I'm so glad you found your copy of European Halls. Little bugger was hiding, wasn't it? This is the problem. This is the problem when we have so many books, you see. We have so many books. We lose track of them, don't we? I want to show you, babe. I have bought a timer, look, so that we could do the reading sprints. But, yeah. Let me know what you want to do. Oh, I'll put it up there. So, yeah, so I am in 4 book clubs now, so it's all a bit mad. But it's fine. I love them all. And I quite like the fact that automatically, every month, I've got 4 books I know I'm reading. So, I read a lot, as you all know, so would you like to do a sprint or not? I'm easy either way. I've had a very long day. Emmy's up for it. Okay, I'll tell you what, we'll do a 30-minute reading sprint. I will be reading this. The Woman... I hate the fact I can't invert this. I'm so sorry. It drives me insane. By me, I'll speak to you tomorrow. The Woman in White by Ian McConnell, which is a ghost story. Now, this author is also an indie author, and all her stuff is on Kindle Unlimited. And she wrote a fantastic book called 72 Hours, which is set in an asylum. Bye, Lovey. Bye, Nuna. Bye, Amelia. Sorry, I was just saying goodbye to Amelia. Sorry, darling. 72 Hours, which is set in an asylum. It's a really creepy novella. And she also wrote, which has just come out, The Black Cat Bookshop, which is about a bookshop that pops up in Oxford, and you go in and they give you the book that you need. And the book you need turns your life around, but there is a payment to be made because the bookshop harbours something ancient. Black Cat Bookshop. It's a really good read. I read it as an ARC. This is an ARC as well. It's out in April. And lovely Erin, I think her name's Erin, Ian McConnell. She's a lovely author. So I'm going to put the timer on. Shall we do 30 minutes? I do need to pop to the bathroom, so you'll have to excuse me for a moment. But we'll put 30 minutes on, and I'll turn the Frostbite. What's that? Who's that by? Who's that by, darling? Frostbite. I haven't heard of that one. I'll tell you what we are reading in the YA book club next month, by the way, is this one. The Babysitter's Look how gorgeous this cover is. Isn't it gorgeous? And underneath, oh, baby, it matches my hair. I mean, I probably would have bought this just for the cover. Honestly, I hope the book's good, but isn't the cover? It's just stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Right, where was I? Okay, we're going to do 30 minutes, my darlings. Can you all see the timer? Hang on a sec, I might have to move it. There you go. Can you see? Oh, start, you silly thing. Let's put it on 31 and then... There you go. Turn it around a bit. You can see it, can't you? It's backwards. I'm sorry, I don't know how to invert. Can I invert? It'll be 30 minutes in a minute, my darlings. I'm sorry it's backwards. Yeah, where did you get both your copies from? I'm struggling to find it. The copy of Babysitters covered. I've got mine on eBay. You can get them about £5 or £6 off eBay. You can also get them secondhand on Amazon. It's not currently published live. And there's also a great bookshop which Emma, storyteller, I don't know if she's gone, she might have gone now, but she told me about, called ABE Books, and they might have some as well. But you can get them secondhand from eBay or Amazon. But yes, fantastic book. World of Books, yes, World of Books. I've forgotten about Wob. I think mine came from Wob, actually. Honestly. Yeah, I think it did. So yeah, it's a great, and it's brand new, it's a hardback copy. So anyway, it's going to start now. So it's 29 minutes. I'm going to put the mute on. I'm just going to pop off for a minute. I'll be back. Enjoy your sprints, my darling. Happy reading. Sorry if I made you jump. How did anybody get on? Did you enjoy your reading? That seems like I've read like 40% of my book. But did I put that on for longer than 30 minutes? It felt longer than 30, didn't it? Whoa. Hi, Katrina. New people. Lovely. Yeah, it's really good. It's told in, this is what I'm reading currently, The Woman in White by Ian McConnell. It's on KU, if anybody's interested. It will be. It's not out yet, it's an arc. It's told in dual timelines between this woman in the wartime, called Emily, and who is, her husband's away fighting, and she's living with her mum and her grandmother, and she's just been attacked by two men, and now she's pregnant. And in modern times, with another woman who is moved into a flat that's been built on the site of an old prison, and she's been haunted by a woman in white, who's basically this ghostly woman in white with very, very blonde hair who comes out of the floor in water. It's just very creepy. It's very, very good. What have you been reading, Emmy? The Lamplighter. Oh, yes. I don't use NetGalley as much as I used to. I used to use it a lot, but because my passion is really indie horror, a lot of indie horror authors get in contact with me, which is lovely, for me to read their stuff. So I get a lot of arcs for that way, and I also beta read and edit for a few. I used to be an editor in a past life, and but I don't use it very often. So occasionally I'll get one off there, but yeah, used to get loads, and quite like NetGalley, and also Book Sirens as well. I used to use them as well. They're quite good, and you can find them on Goodreads. They also have some great arcs, especially fantasy. If you like fantasy, I'm not much of a fantasy fan myself. Yeah, it's a good profession to get into, Emmy. Proofreading and editing. I proofread quite a lot, but yeah, so do I, Joe. I'm a bit of a grammar person, and but yeah, sometimes as well. I think that's why a lot of authors use arc readers, because you can have 10 people look at it and still miss something, and it can still be missed sometimes. I found the most horrendous spelling mistakes in traditionally published books. You're a book illustrator, really? I love illustrations in a book. They elevate the book for me, an illustration. I've got this lovely friend who's an indie author called Phil Baker, who wrote The House on Hanging Hill Lane, and his new one, Third Hunter, which we'll probably throw into the book club at one point. His wife has illustrated his book for him. So the main cover was done by a professional illustrator, but his wife did the rest. She covered her hands with her face. And he brought you out the book, Bitter Thorn. I don't think I've read that one. As I say, I mainly read horror, but yeah, it can pull you out, can't it? I don't mind if it's like a silly thing, like the word spelt slightly wrong. It's if they get like a whole sentence wrong. It's just like, what? And so yeah, that annoys me. But anyway, Third Hunter is illustrated all the way through. All the headings are illustrated at the beginning. If you ever read The House on Hanging Hill Lane, then that was also each chapter heading was illustrated. So it's I do. Oh, you do special editions, edges. I love a spread. I'd love to be able to do that. I do paint and draw myself, mainly pastels and oils, but I do it for fun. But I've never been brave enough to do it on a book. But some of them are stunning. I'll have to look you up, Katrina. Do you follow me? I'll look you up. Brom's illustrations are stunning. I mean, really beautiful. I agree. And I quite like his writing too. I read Krampus at Christmas, and I must get round to reading Slewfoot at some point. I need to get a copy. It's what I need to get. But I do love a spread. I love a pretty spread. Although I have just cancelled Illuma Crate. I had it for a year. I was going to try it for a year. And I think out of the year I like 3 of the books. Oh, you work with a lot of the book boxes. Oh, you're on Instagram. Okay, I'm on Instagram too. And I'll have a look for you. Katrina Paints. I'll look for that. And yeah, so there were mainly romances or romanticises, and I don't like that. It's not my thing. So I had some beautiful editions, which, at some point I need to think about passing on to people who'll appreciate them, because I'm not going to read the book. And so they're just like trophies on my shelf, aren't they? I've got bookshelves everywhere, as you can see. They're everywhere. There's my special editions up there. But yeah, I don't really read romances. Yeah, Fairy Loot's the same. I think I love Broken Binding. Do you do Broken Bindings ones? Because I've got the Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust special editions from Broken Binding by Travis Baldry, which I absolutely adore. They're up there somewhere, yes. But they do gorgeous spreadsheets. They do, yes. I bought a couple of books from them. But again, a lot of them tend to be fantasy, and I'm not. The foils. Oh, the Tight Child. I don't know what that is, but I love a foiled book. I love it when it's all shiny. I like sparkly things. I'm basically a blackbird. I'm basically a blackbird in human form. So yeah, I do. I love a spread. Oh, I love it. Is that what you do for a living? That wonderful job to do. I do. Yeah, I do a lot of drawing and painting. I do crafting, and I make cards, and I make jewellery, and also I didn't make these. I do make my own jewellery, yeah, I just do it for fun, really. But yes, so is everybody fancy another sprint? We'll do another 30. Oh, you do it full time. How wonderful. It's lovely to do a job you love, isn't it? It is. I think, actually, I do accounts, finance. And I know a lot of people don't. I love it. I love figures. They're completely logical to me. And I love my job. I think you're very, very fortunate if you do something that you really love to do. It doesn't feel like work then, does it? So, yeah. Oh, bless your heart. Oh, I'll have to have a look. I'll have a look at you. I'll try and find you on Instagram in a minute. So we're going to do another 30-minute sprint, and then we'll finish for the night. Because that will take us up till like 9 o'clock, and I can go and have something to eat. And yeah, there we go. A couple of hours, I think, is enough for anybody. That's true, Joe. Figures don't... See, I see patterns in figures, right? I mean, in fairness, it's coming up to end of financial year, so it's all a bit crazy at work at the moment. And I've got a bit of spreadsheet blindness. I keep seeing spreadsheets when I close my eyes. But there's logic, you know what I mean? You can always find it. Numbers don't lie. What comes in, what comes out. What comes in and goes out, it all balances. And there's something very satisfying about that, you know what I mean? Finding something. It's like when I'm trying to find money, I'm like, oh, hang on a second. It says I've paid. Oh, I love it. It's like a little puzzle, and I love a puzzle. So, yes. So we'll do another 30-minute sprint. Let's turn that there so you can see. And then we'll finish for the night. But yeah, I'm glad it's lovely. So many of you have turned up. Thank you. I know a lot of people like to go off now because it's the middle of the week and people are going to eat. But anyway, I'll see you in about 30 minutes, my darlings. that was the last sprint. So I hope you enjoyed your reading. I've nearly finished this book. It's only 240 pages, so I'm 75% in, but I hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope you enjoyed our chat about the book club. We'll do, as I say, on the 21st of February. Hopefully, if Alan can come and do that, we'll do a live Q&A with Alan for European Halls. So we'll be starting that book tomorrow. How exciting. I can't wait to read it again. Thank you, darling. Thank you for coming. I hope you're all well. Have a beautiful evening. And I'll see you soon. If you like the sprints, we can do a couple a month on a Wednesday night if you'd like me to. I don't mind, really. I'm quite happy to witter on. I'm reading anyway, so it's just switching the camera on. But yeah, thanks, Ree. And have a lovely night, everyone. Now, thank you, Katrina. Lovely to meet you. I'm going to go and find you on Instagram. So have a beautiful night, everybody. Bye, Emmy. And I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.